Hi everyone, this is the Real Deal Sex Ed, and today I'm back with a submission from my email, therealdealsexed@gmail.com. So it reads, Dear Miss P, I love a topic on the elasticity of the vagina. Does it lose some naturally? Will the muscles, for the most part, always snap back? What may cause the vagina to permanently remain loose over time? Sincerely, a concerned vagina. So I'm going to touch on this. I did some research. So for the most part, the vagina will always snap back, which is something that I've always known to be true for myself. But I'm sure everyone has heard the little rumors about, oh, well, a guy talking about how he, messed with some girl and she was so loose, blase, blase, blah. So there's no such thing as a loose vagina. When you're, not participating in intercourse or things like that, the folds on the inside are laying together. So let's imagine an accordion. So you know how you play an accordion, it comes open and then do, 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 making a little noise or whatever. And then you just close it on back and it just rests on close unless, you open it, which would be the insertion of a tampon, a toy, a penis, any other things, because there's a lot of things that people participate in. So any other things that would be inserted into the vagina. So let's say a bigger penis than, the average or whatever. You think, oh, okay, if I keep having sex with this guy, like, I'm not going to be able to go back, maybe in your mind. It always snaps back over time. It's just like, what's something else I can compare it to? I guess childbirth, okay? So this is a baby coming out. So, of course, that's being stretched well beyond that of a penis. But, afterwards, most times you get sewed up if you're, split or cut or rip, things like that. If not, there's a lot of times where people aren't cut or anything. So it just stretches out enough for the baby to come out and then it just relaxes back. And then, after a few weeks, there's about 6 weeks, you're supposed to, not participate in intercourse, things like that. And then it just goes back. And I guess it would attribute as many people that have, babies that are married and things like that, they're still able to do the same thing. So for the most part, the guys are like, it's pretty much the same. So it'll always go back. Okay. I will say, over time, like when you get close to like menopause age and your hormones change, things like that. Okay. That'll start to kind of wear an elasticity, but you'll never be like loose to the point where you're like falling open. It will still, be able to, hug, clench, whatever you prefer to say, onto the penis. And also childbirth, but that differs as well because a lot of people have, C-section, things like that. But even if you do have vaginal, okay, it might not be as tight as it was when you were 20 years old, but it's still not falling open to the point where it'll be like loose. And if you ever notice, like when dudes are talking about somebody is loose, most of the time, who are they referring to? A girl that they feel like has sex with a lot of people, or what they consider to be a whore, or somebody who gets around. You never heard a man talking about his wife, oh, my wife is loose, because no, like, you've had sex with her continuously for years. Yeah, it might not be as tight as it was at one point, but it's still, hugging you to the point where you're able to enjoy the sexual experience. So yeah, nobody is like falling open unless, there are extreme cases, but that's like those, how can I explain it? I don't want to like bash, but like if you've seen like some of the more intense porn, I will say, where they're like sticking like almost their whole arm up somebody, or like the penis is just like colossal, and like afterwards like you're like seeing like gaping, like, oh my god, like that type of stuff, that is like extreme, but you're doing extreme stuff to the body. So in my mind, that's to be expected. I don't know what you expect to do if you're doing something like that. Like, you're like damaging things. So that's like a total different thing. But again, I would say for the most part, we remain nice and snug. Again, when you're not participating in any type of intercourse, so you're not, in labor and things like that, the folds on the inside of your vagina are actually touching each other on the inside. And I will also give you some exercises that they presented. If you are someone who's concerned, or you just are one of those people that are paranoid about something like that, they have Kegel exercises, which is basically the clenching of the muscles in the vagina and holding them for a few minutes at a time, to actually identify this muscle. What they say to do is, while urinating, stop your pee midstream. That is the most muscle that you're trying to work. So basically you would just clench that up for a few minutes. Or you can I'll just like squeeze my muscle continuously, but I've always done that even before I knew a Kegel. It was just something my body would do anyway, especially if I'm like stressed or nervous or something. I'll just like clench up. So I just like continuously clench. So I'll do like maybe 10 at a time, something like that. But you can't hold for like a minute or so. They do have what they call, from when I was growing up, they were called Benoit balls, and they're like little balls. You can buy them at the sex store, and basically you would insert them, and squeeze that muscle to hold the balls in. And it's another item. It's not like single balls, but it's like I guess maybe I should look up the name. But I'll get back with you guys with the name for that particular item. But basically it's like a long, not really long, maybe like 4-5 centimeters. And it's like ball, a little thin little silicone like notch that's kind of attaching, another one. They have ones that are aligned, and all the balls are actually the same size, and then they have some that start out small and get bigger. So these are also things that you could use to work the muscle, if you are, kind of like, well, I don't know, just in case, something like that. And there's also an electrical stimulation that you can get done, but that's at your your gynecology office. That is something as well that they do, from what I was reading. I personally have never heard of that. The other things I have. So that one, yeah, that's something that you would speak with your healthcare provider about and see if that's something that you would do. But from what I read, that's usually something you would do as kind of like a last resort type of thing. So I hope this was very helpful, and I hope for some of you guys it's relieved that, oh, if I, have sex with this or that, or if I have sex with more than one person, more than 5 people, whatever the case may be, yeah, there's no real such thing as a loose cooch. So yeah. And another thing with the whole, never mind. You know what? I won't even get into that, because people would get a little touchy on that. But that whole like loose thing, it's kind of like at the same time, like, guys, what are you doing to make the experience, something of worth at the same time? Because yeah, I'll touch on those other topics that are running through my mind right now at another time. So I hope you enjoyed this segment of the Real Deal Sex Ed. Comments, questions, topics, the Real Deal Sex Ed at gmail.com.